All right, let's get started on this piece that we're going to be working on today. I always like to give you a really good view of what we're starting with and some of the challenges we may have. So, this is a dresser, kind of a two-level dresser. It's really pretty good shape. It's heavy wood. Now, I bought this from a woman who had six kiddos, and this was in their playroom. And so, there's a lot of dings and dangs in it. You can see uh, some holes, but nothing serious really. The only thing that I saw that I thought, oh, that's a little concerning, is there's a crack right here. So I don't know if you can see that foreshadowing, but I think we can fix that. I'm just going to put some wood glue in it and let that dry, and then maybe if I need to add some wood putty on top just to smooth out the finish, we can do that. But you can see overall it's in really great shape. Unfortunately, some of the knobs were missing, so I had to order new hardware, but that's okay. I want to do something different with this anyway. I think I'm going to paint it more of a farmhouse style, and we'll see what it looks like. But let's get started. So as usual, my first step in my process is to clean and remove hardware. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera so I don't have to take you through that each and every time. I know that's not the fun part of the process. So hang in there and I'll be right back and we'll start sanding.
Okay, so we couldn't go right to sanding. When I was taking off the hardware, I discovered this one knob had been glued in. In fact, there was no screw, so believe that it must have fallen off and they chose to use wood glue to reattach it. So I'm using my little Kona miter saw. I love this saw. I use it almost on every project. I'll include it in the description in case you need a handy little tool like this in your arsenal. But I'm just sawing around all of the edges really to give me a place to insert this other tool that I have and use a hammer and just pop that piece right off of there. Now we have to fix the drawer that I showed you earlier that has a huge crack in it. So I'm putting wood glue on a business card and I'm just trying to shove it into that crack. I also poured the glue directly into the space and using that business card to push it down in there and then squeegee off the excess. And then I'll take my pink wet rag there and just clean it up a bit so we don't have so much of the glue on the surface. And then we'll put some weights on it and we'll let it dry while we finish doing some of the other work that we need to do. Oh, there's Stevie Ray. Say hello. He's our project manager. Now we are looking at our wood filler. I use this wood filler because it is stainable and it does perform very well. As you can see on the top of this surface, there are a lot of dings and dents that we need to cover up. So I'm just going to generously apply this to all the spaces that I feel need significant work done. So I'm just taking my spatula, pushing it into all those grooves, and then we'll let it dry a bit and we'll be able to come back and do a good sand and prep it for paint. You can see I'm generously putting it all around the top. Now it's dry and we're ready to take the sander. Here's my surf prep. I love this sander. You'll hear me talk about it all the time. I am sanding in my living room dining area. My surf prep is attached to a shop vac and there is zero dust. So it really allows me to work in a small space and it does an amazing job. It's very fast, it's very efficient. I believe time is money, so anything that helps me be more productive, I'm all about that. So I'm just sanding off all that wood putty to make sure we have a nice smooth finish that we can adhere our paint to. And also, I scuff sand. I scuff sand everything, and this particular piece has a varnish on it that's a bit shiny, and I want to make sure that we have a good surface where we're not going to have any issues with our paint scratching off or peeling easily. Since this is a piece I plan on selling, I want to make sure it's very professional, that the paint itself has longevity, and they're not going to, ding it up or scratch the paint in the moving process. So I always scuff sand. It's just part of my process. I think it's an important part. I never skip it, just like the cleaning process is important for the paint to be have the best surface possible. Here's that drawer that you can see has all of that wood putty where we had to glue it together. And we're just sanding that off so we have good paint adhesion. Okay, now we're ready to paint. This is the Silk All-in-One Mineral Paint. I've used this paint before. I really like it. I seem to gravitate to Dixie Belle products. I think it's great value for the quality of this paint. If this is the all-in-one, so the all-in-one has your um, primer, your stain blocker, your odor blocker, your paint, and your top coat. So the value is amazing. This is the color Endless Shore. So it is like an eggshell color, not at all a vivid white. It's very muted in tone. I love this color. I think for what I'm trying to accomplish, that farmhouse, rustic farmhouse style, I think this color is absolutely perfect. However, it's white, and whites don't tend to have great coverage. So as I'm putting this on, I can immediately tell that it's going to take 2 coats, possibly 3. We'll have to wait and see once we get through the process and see what it looks like. But this paint, it's just important to use, long brush strokes. Try to go in with the grain of the wood. Do not overwork your paint. This paint sets up quickly, and when it starts to set up, if you are painting across it again, you're definitely going to get brush strokes and you're not going to be happy with the finish. So once or twice across the same spot is really all you need to do. You can always come back and put another coat on. So for me, this first coat is just to get coverage. I'm not going for perfection here. In fact, I'm putting on a very thin coat. I find thin coats overall, even if I have to do more coats, provides me with a better finish and just better control over what that final outcome is going to look like. So I'm very happy with it. So you can see, I can see through that paint. It looks like there's brush strokes in it, but this paint levels out beautifully. And once it does, you will not see any brush strokes. Now I'm just going down the side of this dresser once again, just really nice long brush strokes, trying to keep my paint even, not a lot of paint, just a thin coat. Let's get our first coat on and get some good coverage so it's really prepared to take on the second coat. And once again, I'm pretty confident a third coat, at least in certain spots, are probably going to be needed. But we just want to get that first coat on. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. Just get our first coat on, let it sit, let it dry. Will allow me to evaluate kind of what it looks like after that first coat, and I'll have a better feel for that. And now we'll do the drawers, and the drawers will have some really nice long brush strokes as well, not to overwork those drawers. But we also want to make sure there was a lot of damage to some of those drawers. So I just want to make sure we've got a good prepped surface to paint. Okay, now we're ready for that second coat of paint. As you can see, it's very thin. We can see right through that first coat as I predicted. It is a white paint, and typically I'm always going to have more than one coat. You can see those white spots. I wasn't really happy. Once I put that first coat on, it really highlighted those dents that are in the top of that dresser. And so I decided to take some Dixie Belle mud in white, since we're using white paint, and just try to fill some of those in. I love the Dixie Belle mud. The consistency is very creamy, so it's very easy to apply. It dries quickly, and I'm able to sand it with just a block sander at a very high grit. And so that's what I did. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I want to make sure that the top, especially the top, looks beautiful. And so there's still going to be some imperfections in the top. I'm not going to be able to cover that. But I really do like the second coat. I'm starting to see what the final project is going to look like. The second coat is giving some great coverage, but you can see that door there. That's how thin the coat was on this entire dresser, my first coat. I just feel a thin coat just provides a better surface for the next coat. And the next coat is going on very well. However, as I thought, a third coat is going to be needed. I could still see some bare spots in it, so I went ahead and I put on the third coat all over the dresser. I didn't do a spot at all. I did full coverage over the dresser, and I was really happy with the end result. I somehow lost the footage of the hardware, but you'll see the hardware when I show you the final project.
Okay, everyone, here's our dresser, all staged and ready for photographs to be placed on Facebook Marketplace. I think it looks really nice. I'm very happy with the results. I love this silk paint. It just really performs nicely. There's very few brush strokes, actually probably no brush strokes, frankly, but what I did do with this piece, let's go in for a closer look, is I did decide to distress it just lightly around the edges, just where you could see it would naturally distress. You can see the new hardware. I like the black on the white. I think that's just a nice look. And this hardware, I think I got 13 knobs for like $10 on Amazon. So I thought that was a great value. So I'll add that link below if you're interested. Then let's just go around. See here, I stressed it. A little distressing on the door, not a lot. Just some natural distressing. And the reason I did this, I think when we first started the video, I shared with you that I purchased this from an individual who had 6 kiddos, and this dresser was in their playroom. So it had a lot of wear and tear on it. It had a lot of, dings and dents basically all over it. And I did use wood putty and Dixie Belle mud to try to cover up some of that. But frankly, there was so much that I just really couldn't cover it all up. So I decided, well, let's go with some distressing, and that will just kind of blend in well with the character of this piece. But I still think it turned out beautifully. I'm deciding what to price it at. I paid $40 for it. I used probably $20 in paint. So we're at $60, another $10 for hardware. So we're at $70. I think I'm going to post it for $250 and see how it does. But here is my question for you. I bought these IOD transfers in in floral anthropology, and they're beautiful. I was going to put them on this piece. Let you see the inside. Just some beautiful flowers, some florals. And really try to make this piece more of that cottage core design that everyone's wild about right now, kind of rustic cottage core with the distressing. But we'll see. I decided let's go ahead and post it as is for the next week, see if we get any bites, anyone who's interested. And then if not, I think I'll come back and I will use these transfers and then repost it. But let me know what you think in the comments. If you like it the way it is, or you think it would look good with these transfers. My plan was really to just use the transfers on the front of the drawers, maybe just a couple around the top, not a lot, but just a couple to cover up some of the blemishes on it. And just give it a very different look. So let me know in the comments what you think. If I don't use it on this piece, on the next piece I'm going to put together for you, you're going to see me use these transfers. I've really been wanting to try them, and I'm excited to do that. So stay tuned for that. But I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. I always enjoy these videos, and I really am so appreciative of you guys. You have left me so many wonderful comments, and it just really makes my day. I'm so excited to be able to share this with you in my journey. So let's stay tuned and watch for more videos. And I look forward to hearing your comments on this piece. And if you like this content and you like this channel, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button below and give this video a big thumbs up because that really does help my channel. So thank you, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye now.